Story 1.
It was 1:17 a.m. on County Road 12, and I gave her a ride. A young girl in a tattered prom dress, shivering in the rain. She said she was heading home, her voice barely louder than the wind. I drove her to the address she gave me, but when I got there, the back seat was empty. And when I told someone about it, an old man looked at me and said, "You're the 37th person to pick her up on that stretch of road." I was driving home after a rough night. 8 years hauling logistics, and I'd just been laid off. A going-away party at a dive bar left me sober but exhausted, crawling along County Road 12 in rural Illinois. It's the kind of road where the fog clings like a second skin, and the headlights barely cut through it. Trees loomed on both sides, their branches scratching at the sky. My radio was busted, so it was just me, the hum of my old pickup, and the occasional flicker of a deer in the distance. I was lost in my thoughts, bills, job hunts, the works when I saw her. She was standing on the shoulder, half illuminated by my headlights. A teenage girl, maybe 17, in a prom dress that looked like it belonged in a vintage shop. It was pale blue, soaked through, clinging to her frame as she hugged herself against the rain. Her dark hair was plastered to her face, and she was holding out a thumb, the universal sign for a ride. I hesitated. It was late, and I didn't need trouble, but her eyes pleading, almost glowing in the dark, made me pull over. I rolled down the window. "You okay?" I asked. She nodded, teeth chattering. "Can you take me home?" She climbed into the back seat, leaving a faint damp spot on the upholstery. "Thanks," she whispered, her voice soft, like it was carried on the wind. I asked where she was headed. 1248 Willow Creek Lane, she said, clear as day, without checking a phone or hesitating. My friends ditched me. I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Her head was turned toward the window, her face pale, almost translucent in the dim light. "You go to prom tonight?" I asked, trying to make small talk. She didn't answer, just kept staring out into the rain. We passed a gas station, its neon sign buzzing like a dying firefly. "You want to grab something warm to drink?" I offered, thinking she looked half frozen. "I don't have any money," she said quietly. Then, out of nowhere, she leaned forward. "What year is it?" "Anyway," I laughed, thinking it was a joke. 20 charm. "You been out of it or something?" The silence that followed was heavy, like the air before a storm. I glanced back. Her eyes were fixed on me, unblinking, and for a split second, I swore the temperature in the cab dropped. The GPS led me to Willow Creek Lane, a quiet street lined with old houses and older trees. My hands were trembling on the wheel, though I didn't know why. The air felt thick, like someone was breathing just behind my neck. I kept my eyes on the road, too afraid to glance at the rearview mirror again. The address was a 2-story home, Victorian style, with a single porch light flickering like it was on its last legs. I pulled into the driveway, my heart hammering, and forced myself to turn around. "We're here," I said. The back seat was empty. No wet spots, no indent on the cushion, no sign she'd ever been there. My breath caught, and I sat frozen, too scared to move. I couldn't drive away. My legs felt like lead as I stepped into the rain, my jacket soaking through. I knocked on the door, half expecting no one to answer. An old man opened it, his hair white as bone, his eyes sunken but sharp. "Sorry to bother you," I stammered, my voice barely steady. "Did a girl just come in here?" I gave her a ride. He stared at me, then motioned me inside. On the mantel above the fireplace was a framed photo, a girl in a pale blue prom dress, smiling softly. Next to it, a plaque, "In loving memory, Emily Grace, 1982-99. The old man's name was Harold. He poured me a coffee, his hands trembling. "That was my Emily," he said. "Died in a car crash on County Road 12, night of her prom. Drunk driver took her out." His voice cracked. "Since then, people keep seeing her, picking her up, driving her here. She always vanishes before she gets to the door." He looked at me, his eyes searching. "You're not the first. Won't be the last." Harold told me the story had become a legend around these parts. The prom girl of County Road 12. Truckers, late-night commuters, even kids on dares swore they'd seen her. But no one had ever come to the house, seen the photo, or talked to Harold. I was the first to confirm it wasn't just a ghost story. "People think it's a prank," he said. "But you saw her. You felt her." I nodded, my throat tight. I couldn't shake the image of her eyes in my rearview mirror. Before I left, Harold grabbed my arm. "If you see her again," he said, his voice breaking, "tell her I forgive her. She blamed herself for sneaking out that night. Tell her to come inside this time. Don't let her disappear." I didn't know what to say. His pain was raw, like a wound that never healed. I promised I'd try, though I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. Driving home, I felt like I was carrying something heavier than myself. 3 weeks later, I was on County Road 12 again. Same time, same rain, same fog. I told myself I wasn't looking for her, but my eyes kept drifting to the shoulder, and there she was. Same dress, same thumb out, same desperate look. My pulse raced as I pulled over. She climbed in, and for the first time, she smiled a small, sad curve of her lips. "You again," she said, like we were old friends. I didn't ask questions this time. "Let's get you home." "Emily," I said. Her eyes widened, like she hadn't heard her name in years. The drive was quiet, but it felt different, calmer, like the air was holding its breath. When we reached Willow Creek Lane, she didn't vanish. She opened the door, stepped out, and walked toward the house. I watched her silhouette cross the porch, push the door open, and step inside. The door clicked shut. I sat there, trembling, not sure what I'd just witnessed. That night, I dreamed of Emily sitting on the porch, her dress dry, her face peaceful. "Thank you for letting me finish," she said. When I woke up, my hands were still shaking. I checked my dashcam footage, half expecting it to be blank. The video showed the door opening, then closing, but no one was there, except, for a split second, there was a glitch, a faint, blurry shadow crossing the porch. Too vague to be sure. I played it over and over, my skin crawling, trying to convince myself it was just the rain. I went back to the house the next day. It was empty, the windows dark, The porch light off. A neighbor saw me knocking and came over. "Nobody's lived there since Harold passed," she said. 3 years ago. My stomach dropped. I'd spoken to him, heard his voice, felt his hand on my arm. I dug through old newspapers at the library and found his obituary, Harold Grayson. Died 2022. But my phone still had the audio I'd recorded that night. His voice clear as day, telling me about Emily. This wasn't a ghost story. It was a love story that refused to end. Emily needed someone to bring her home. Harold needed to let her go. And me, I was the one who carried their weight, who bridged the gap between their world and mine. I still hear her voice sometimes, soft as the rain, asking for a ride. I don't drive at night anymore. County Road 12 is just a stretch of asphalt to most folks. But if you're out there at 1 a.m. and see a girl in a prom dress by the side of the road, stop. Not because she needs you, but because she's giving you a chance to be part of her final story. And if you do give her a ride, don't check the back seat too often. Sometimes she whispers.
Story 2.
The rain's hammering my windshield, wipers screaming to keep up. I'm Jake, a long-haul trucker running a load from Ohio to Colorado on I-70. It's past 11 p.m., and the highway's a black ribbon stretching into nowhere. No radio, no co-driver, just me, my rig, and the hum of tires on wet asphalt. I've done this route 100 times. It's lonely, but it's home. Tonight, though, something feels off. The air's heavy, like the storm's carrying more than rain. I glance in my side mirror. A set of headlights is tailing me, maybe a quarter-mile back. Another rig, keeping pace. Normal enough truckers stick close on empty stretches like this. But then I catch it. The guy's staring at me. Through the rain, through the dark. I see his face lit up in his cab. He's grinning. Not a friendly "Hey, brother," grin. It's wide, frozen, like he's posing for a photo that never ends. I shake it off. Long hours mess with your head. Maybe I'm seeing things. But 15 miles later, he's still there. Same distance, same grin. His lips are stretched so tight they look ready to split. No blinking, no shifting, just that smile, locked on me through the mirror. I rub my eyes, sip my coffee. It's not my imagination. This guy's not right. I test him. I speed up, weaving past a slow sedan. He matches me. I switch lanes, slow to a crawl. He's still there, glued to my tail. My heart's thumping now. I tilt the passenger side mirror for a better look. His head tilts too, like he knows I'm watching. Then he nods slow, deliberate, still smiling. My skin crawls. Who the hell is this guy? I can't take it. There's a rest stop coming up near Salina, Kansas. I signal, pull in, and kill the engine. The rain's louder now, drumming on the roof. I wait, watching the mirror. His rig doesn't pass. It pulls in too, parking 100 yards back, headlights still on, piercing the rain. No one gets out. I sit there, gripping the wheel, telling myself it's just another driver, but my gut's screaming otherwise. Screw it. I grab my flashlight and step into the storm. My boots splash through puddles as I approach his rig, a silver beast. No markings, no plates. The cab's windows are fogged, but I shine the light inside. Nothing. No driver, no gear, just an empty seat. My breath catches. I swear I saw him. I back away, the rain soaking my jacket, and something cold twists in my chest. This isn't right. Back in the rest stop diner, I ask the other drivers, "You see that silver rig out there?" Guy with a weird smile. Blank stares. A grizzled old-timer at the counter looks up from his coffee. "The grinner," he mutters. "Saw him back in 11. Followed me for 50 miles. No one in the cab when I checked." He pauses, eyes distant. Don't look at him too long. "Kid?" Then he clams up, like he's said too much. I pull out my phone, hands shaky, and hit the trucker forums. There's chatter about the smiling trucker, a ghost rig. They call it silver, no plates. Shows up on lonely highways like I-70, always in rain or fog. Drivers say it picks a target, sticks to them, smiling the whole way. Some say it's a prank. Others say it's something older, something that doesn't belong on the road. My coffee's cold now, but I'm not drinking it. I hit the road again, telling myself it's nothing, just a tired mind and bad weather. But 10 miles out, there he is. Same headlights, same distance. I check the mirror, same smile. Staring right through me. My pulse spikes. I flash my high beams, blare the horn, swerve to the shoulder. He doesn't flinch, just keeps grinning, like he's enjoying the game. I've had enough. I'm ending this. I slam the gas, swing into the left lane, and overtake him. As I pass, I steal a glance at his cab. The smile's there, but the face, it's wrong. Like melted wax, sagging, with eyes like black pits. No bones, no structure, just that grin stretched across something that shouldn't exist. I nearly clip a guardrail, my hands shaking so bad I can barely steer. I check my mirror again. Nothing. No headlights. No rig. It's gone like it was never there. I pull over, heart pounding, sweat dripping down my back. The highway's empty, rain still falling. I sit there, waiting for something, anything to prove. I'm not crazy, but there's just silence, and the feeling that someone's still watching me, right behind my seat. Back at a motel, I plug in my dash cam. The footage is there, hours of him tailing me. But the cab, it's empty. Just a dark void where the driver should be. No gear, no coffee cups, nothing. Then, in the last few frames, the footage glitches, static flickers, and for 1 second, the smile appears right up against the glass, clear as day. I rewind, watch it again. My stomach churns. That face wasn't human. I post about it on the forum, desperate for answers. A private message pings in. Don't wave at him. It says, don't acknowledge him. Once he sees you, he knows you. He'll follow you, not just on the road, sometimes in your dreams. The sender's account is deleted. I sit there, staring at the screen, wondering if I've already made a mistake I can't undo. I haven't seen the rig since, but it's not over. Some nights, I wake up sweating, the image of that cab's light flickering in my mind. I'll check my truck's mirrors and see them fog up from the inside. Once, I swear I heard a low chuckle from the passenger seat, but no one was there. I started covering the mirrors inside my cab at night, just in case. I don't know if it's real or if my brain's breaking. All I know is, I'm not alone on this route anymore. If you're ever on I-70 after midnight, and you see a silver rig in your mirror. Don't wave, don't stare, and for God's sake, don't smile back, because once he locks onto you, you're part of his route, forever. So keep your eyes on the road, and pray the rain stops before he finds you. Drive safe, and don't look back.
Story 3.
They say if someone keeps flashing their high beams at night, it's road rage. That's what I thought, until the gas station clerk told me to call the cops immediately. Turns out, the guy behind me wasn't trying to scare me. He was trying to save me, because I wasn't alone in my car. There was someone hiding in my back seat. Daniel Meyer, 33, dragged himself out of the printing warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky, at 1:47 a.m. The night shift had run long, and his bones ached from hauling paper reams. Rain misted the air, slicking the asphalt of the empty lot. His old sedan sat under a flickering streetlight, its back seat cluttered with gym bags, jackets, and a cardboard box he hadn't bothered to unload. All he wanted was to crank the heat, blast his playlist, and get home to his apartment in Jeffersontown. He tossed his keys onto the passenger seat, oblivious to the faint click of a door not fully latched. The highway stretched dark and desolate, rain streaking across Daniel's windshield. 10 minutes in, headlights glared in his rearview mirror. A beat-up green pickup truck riding too close. Daniel squinted, annoyed. "Wanna pass?" "Buddy, go for it," he muttered, easing off the gas. But the truck didn't overtake. It hugged his bumper through every curve, its lights flooding his car with harsh white. Then, a flash high beams, sharp and deliberate. Daniel's grip tightened on the wheel. Another flash, then another. Every few minutes, the truck's high beams pulsed like a heartbeat. Daniel's irritation boiled. "What's your deal, man?" He tapped the brakes. A subtle warning. The truck eased back, then crept close again. Flash, flash. No horn, no swerving, just relentless tailing. Daniel cursed under his breath, assuming he'd crossed paths with some Louisville road rager, itching for a fight. He turned up his music, Springsteen's Born to Run, trying to drown out the unease creeping up his spine. Exiting the highway onto quieter city streets, Daniel decided to lose the guy. He took a sharp left, then a right, weaving through Louisville's grid like a man dodging a shadow. The truck stayed glued to him, matching every turn. At a red light, Daniel glared into the mirror, catching the truck's silhouette. Flash, flash, 2 deliberate bursts. It wasn't random, it felt like a signal. His stomach knotted. Was this guy messing with him? Or something else? Enough was enough. Spotting a 24-hour gas station on Shelbyville Road, Daniel swung into the lot, hoping the truck would blow past. It didn't. The pickup pulled in too. Parking a few spaces away, Daniel's pulse quickened. He grabbed his phone and strode into the bright fluorescent glow of the convenience store. Glancing back, the truck's driver, a black man, mid-50s, in a worn jacket, stepped out, his face taut with urgency, not anger. He moved fast, heading straight for the store. Daniel barely reached the counter when the man burst in. "Don't go back to that car," the man shouted, his voice cracking. "There's someone in your back seat. I saw him. He ducked when my lights hit." Daniel froze. his keys slipping in his sweaty palm. The clerk, a wiry kid with a name tag reading Tyler, stared wide-eyed. "Call 911, the man urged. Tyler fumbled for the phone. Daniel's legs felt like lead. He couldn't look at his car, couldn't move. "What do you mean, someone?" he stammered. The man's eyes locked on his. "I saw a head, in the dark, just hiding." Sirens wailed within minutes. 2 squad cars screeched into the lot, bathing Daniel's sedan in red and blue. The officers approached cautiously, hands on holsters. One shone a flashlight through the rear window. "Sir, step back," an officer barked at Daniel. They popped the back door. There, crouched among the gym bags, was a man gaunt, hair matted, clutching a utility knife. His eyes were wide, unblinking, lips pressed into a thin line. The cops yanked him out, cuffs clicking. Daniel's knees buckled. "Who the hell is that?" he whispered. At the station, detectives pieced it together. Security footage from the printing warehouse showed the man slipping into Daniel's car at 1:03 a.m. While Daniel was distracted unloading a delivery, the rear door, left ajar, was an open invitation. The intruder had lain flat, hidden under jackets, for nearly 40 minutes as Daniel drove, waiting for the right moment. Maybe a dark street, a stoplight, a quiet stretch. The knife gleamed in evidence photos, its blade sharp enough to cut through bone. The man's ID was fake, but his rap sheet wasn't. A drifter with priors for car theft and assault. He was a suspect in a string of attacks on elderly drivers across Kentucky and Kansas. One case, a murder in Wichita, was still open, same MO. Hiding in cars, striking when the driver was alone. "You're lucky," the detective told Daniel, "if that guy in the truck hadn't followed you." Daniel's mouth went dry. He still hadn't thanked the man. Slumped in a plastic chair at the precinct, Daniel replayed the night. The truck driver, why had he noticed? Most people would have ignored a shadow in a stranger's car. Was it instinct? Experience? Daniel's mind churned. Maybe the man had lost someone, a wife, a kid, to something like this. Maybe he'd been a victim himself. The thought gnawed at Daniel. A stranger had saved his life, and he didn't even know his name. By dawn, Daniel was back at the gas station, hoping to find the pickup driver. The lot was empty. Tyler, the clerk, shrugged. Guy looked shook, like he'd seen a ghost before. Didn't stick around. No clear license plate. No name. Nothing. Daniel felt a pang of guilt. He'd been so quick to assume the worst road rage, aggression, when the man was risking his own safety to help. Daniel drove home, the sunrise harsh in his eyes, the weight of his debt settling in. Sleep stopped coming easily. It wasn't just the knife-wielding drifter that haunted Daniel. It was how close he'd come to death without a clue. He'd always been careful. Locked doors, loud music, eyes on the road. But one careless moment, a half-open door had nearly ended him. He started checking his back seat obsessively, shining his phone's flashlight into every corner. The what-ifs piled up. What if the truck hadn't followed? What if he'd stopped at a darker spot? Daniel traded his sedan for a used SUV, its windows tinted but clear enough to see inside. He took different routes to work, avoiding the highway at night. Every car behind him felt like a threat until he checked his mirrors twice. He read about carjackings, stalkers, patterns he'd never noticed before. How many people, he wondered, were driving with someone or something lurking just out of sight? How many had no one to flash a warning? 3 weeks later, at a stoplight on Bardstown Road, Daniel spotted a green pickup in his rear view. Same dented fender, same faded paint. His heart raced. He waved, trying to catch the driver's eye. But the light turned, and the truck pulled left. Daniel floored it, weaving through traffic. But a red light trapped him. By the time it changed, the pickup was gone. Maybe that's the point, he thought. Maybe he doesn't want to be found. If someone flashes their high beams at you tonight, maybe it's not road rage. Maybe they see something you can't, something already inside your car. So next time, before you get angry, check your back seat first. And maybe, just maybe, you'll live long enough to thank them.